Hello, hello, lovelies, mystics, magical beings, Goddess Allure Mystique, and I wanted to just come in to talk to you guys a little bit about Friday the 13th, okay? So, Friday the 13th is actually one of my favorite days of the year. And not just because it's spooky, which I like spooky things, and definitely not because it's unlucky or something to fear, because that's not true, right? Those are myths. So I want to talk a little bit about the history of Friday the 13th and what you can connect to for your own magical, mystical, ascending workings and just your own activations and alignments. So just to go back a little bit, well before Friday the 13th was distorted by superstition, distorted by religion, it was actually associated with the divine feminine. It was a sacred day connected to feminine energy, to death, to rebirth, fertility, and the natural cycles of life. What many people were taught to fear was once deeply revered. Friday is also the only day of the week named after a woman, a goddess, a divine feminine energy, Freya, a goddess associated with love and fertility and magic and sovereignty and power and so much more. Freya is such actually a dynamic energy, but that's pretty common that you find regarding her. And she does represent those things, but she's also so much more, and that's for another day. Okay? But we also want to look at Friday carrying the influence of Venus, which is also about embodiment, okay? It's about beauty, it's about pleasure, it's about creation, it's really about ascending. People don't really realize how much Venus actually is connected to the ascension progress. Yeah, and excuse me there, and everything of that nature. And so we want to also pay attention to that part as well. Then we get into the number 13, right, which is a heavy number that resonates with the divine feminine. It corresponds to the lunar calendar. There are 13 lunar cycles in a year. The moon moves through 13 complete cycles of death and rebirth. The feminine body itself mirrors these rhythms, right, through its own cycles of creation and release. And in non-patriarchal cultures, these cycles were honored. They were not feared. The number 13 symbolized completion, wisdom, fertility, transformation. It was aligned with the moon, the womb space, and the unseen just consciousness of nature. So patriarchal, religious systems, particularly Christianity, right, when they expanded and colonized, anything that was associated with the divine feminine began to be reframed as dangerous, as sinful, as unlucky, as evil. This is where we talk about the distortion of the energy. Feminine symbols were stripped of their sacral meanings. They were assigned negative value. Cycles became chaos. Intuition became temptation. Power became something to suppress. Divine feminine power became something to suppress. Let's make sure to mention that because they definitely set up a power dynamic, right, with patriarchy. So even when we go back and we look at around the 15th century, like the magical and spiritual aspects of femininity were increasingly associated with witchcraft. So this is where you start to see, and this is not saying that there is anything negative or wrong with witchcraft, because there's not. So we're looking at it from the lens of the way they were perceiving it during that time. You have healers and midwives and just spiritually independent, free, autonomous women, right? They were feared. What had once been wisdom became heresy. What had been sacred became unlucky, right? So over time, Friday and the number 13 were turned into symbols of bad luck, not because they were harmful, but because they were sacred and powerful. So we fast forward a little bit like to the 18th century, right? You have Friday the 13th being fully cemented into cultural superstition, something to fear, something to avoid, or just to joke about, disconnected from its original meaning. Superstition, but not necessarily truth, right? Friday the 13th is not a curse. It is a remembrance. It is a day that holds the wisdom of cycles, the wisdom of endings and beginnings, the wisdom of the feminine, both light and shadow. So for me, Friday the 13th isn't about fear. It is about releasing superstition. It's about reclaiming what was once distorted, right? It's about honoring the divine feminine and the lunar rhythms that live within us all. And what's even more valuable with this energy for this Friday the 13th is that it's actually falling during still dark season, right? Where even though we're beginning to see the transition as we get closer through the year, but we're still in the dark season, which brings up a lot of energy around the divine feminine darkness, the dark goddess. And so for those who are aligned with feminine energy, for those who are looking to continue to awaken, to activate, to connect to, and to also embody the energy of the divine feminine, of the dark goddess, this is a great day to begin with honoring yourself, right? With connecting to the energy of the dark, with reclaiming anything that has been told to you and programmed on you that you reject and you release, to declare and decree your sovereignty, to declare and decree you standing in your femininity and you identifying what that looks like for you. Self-love is highly important on this day and time of year. And we know Valentine's Day is also coming up right after that. So it's such a heavily charged time because then we also have next week after that is going to be the Lunar New Year. So there's a lot of things that's happening right here together. And so when we look at the self-love, I want to take it a little bit deeper and think about self-love for yourself as honoring the divine within. So if you still struggle or have issues with worshiping yourself, with really honoring yourself, this is a great time to shift that energy, to transmute that, to send yourself flowers, or to pick up flowers for yourself, treat yourself to a meal, to take that lavish bubble bath, to light a candle for yourself. Anything that you would have done to an entity, a deity, a being that existed within or outside of you, to honor and to worship and to revere them, turn that inward and do that to yourself, for yourself. What that does is it releases that old energy, it transmutes it, it reclaims it, and it helps you begin to embody and connect to yourself as the divine feminine. Okay? And again, this is also a great time to continue to connect with the dark goddess as well, the dark energy. So I just wanted to give a little information because, again, this is one of my favorite days and it's really a misconstrued day. And many people don't really know what it means, don't really know how to celebrate it or how to utilize that energy for yourself. So just remember that what was once sacred is now sacred again. If we choose to remember, right? If we choose to realign, if we choose to embody. And so it's standing right there and you have the choice, okay? So I'll be doing a couple more, I believe, maybe something about the Lunar New Year, and some other things that's coming up as well. Let me know if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, please, just regarding connecting to the energy or anything like that. I always forget, but please remember to, wherever this is posted at, where you're seeing it, to follow, like, or subscribe so that I can build that up there as well. And otherwise, I'll be back talking to you guys soon. Bye.